While Sung Jin-woo's solo leveling adventures are taking a break for now, another webtoon hero stands out above the rest for a slightly different reason. Arthur Lewin, a young child who turns out to be a prodigy. But why is that? Well, he just happens to be a legendary king from a different world, and now he must face his greatest challenge yet.
一つ思い通りにならない。この肉体はまるで牢獄だ。
Enjoying a life with his loving family and learning the ways of fantasy magic. And all that with the power of CGI and PNG action along the way. The end of something special. Recently, The Beginning After the End has seen its first couple of episodes air for all fans to see. Sadly, both novel readers and webtoon readers have much to be disappointed about. And the worst part, it wasn't all that surprising. On October 19, 2024, Crunchyroll released the first ever trailer for The Beginning After the End, and it was greeted with a whopping 2 million views. This is around the same range as trailers for other recent big anime like Kaiju No. 8 and Dandadan. Heck, it even beat out Solo Leveling by 4 times the views for its own trailer. Well, its dubbed trailer, that is, but hey, a win's a win, right? Unfortunately, the good news ends there. Even with the trailer being only 40 seconds long, I personally saw the bloodstained writings on the wall. It had a general lack of scenes from the actual present-day story, instead focusing on the scarce scenes of his old life, which was hardly focused on in the webtoon. And when we did get a shot of Arthur and his new PNG family, there wasn't much to really dissect. Well, at least there was some nice weighty swordplay. Flash forward to the present day though, and that weighty swordplay is now just still frames. Of course, there are some clever uses of panning, shaking, and other effects that do their best in making scenes more alive than they are. But at the end of the day, Studio ACAT is not up to the level of any big-name studio. And unfortunately for this anime, it ends up being a half foot behind even the most trashy of throwaway fantasy anime. Which, by the way, is something the studio is quite familiar with. How could any real anime fans forget anime such as "She professed herself pupil of the wise man," or even "I've somehow gotten stronger when I improved my farm-related skills"? Funny enough, I think both of those do show off way more dynamic animation than the first episodes of The Beginning After the End. I mean, just look at this. Sure, still pretty stiff, but the way both clothes and hair flow in the air at least does something nice for the viewing experience. I think one of my favorite fan reactions to the anime is this 1X account, which is masquerading as the official productions. They constantly make sarcastic tweets regarding the show's poor animation. In particular, they even highlight comparisons between the anime and another recent high-profile blunder, Blue Lock. The reason why I say this is my favorite though is because for a while, even I thought this was a real account. And I'm not alone too, as many in the replies seem to think so too. As it turns out though, social media is the wild, wild west these days, so take this chance to remember to think before you click. But in any case, what I do find odd is that there are those who think the negative reception is unfounded. They say things along the line of, "The animation looks fine. I don't know what everyone's so angry about." And to a degree, I do agree. The world would be a better place without any hate at all, and this anime is far from the absolute worst. That being said, for the fans in the know, this anime simply deserved way better. Like Mushoku Tensei better.
かくしてあの者たちは永遠に苦しみから解き放たれたのだ。
Too much edge makes for a dull blade. As a huge fan for the webtoon, my alarm bells immediately started ringing with these first couple of episodes, as I felt there was just way more edge than I remember. We talked about the added attention to his kingly past in the trailer, and the anime doubles down on this twofold. A huge chunk of episode 1 is dedicated to him flashing back to his old sad life, which is understandable, but it bleeds way more into his present day than it did in the webtoon. So much so that even Arthur's mother comments on her edgy boy tendencies despite his young age. age. A comment that wasn't present in the webtoon at the very least. That might seem small, but it does affect the buildup of the human emotion and love that Arthur should be learning. Of course, it does eventually salvage itself by the very last scene of the first episode, and what do you know, already on episode 2. We're in our first adventure that eventually leads to his separation from his family. I'm not saying that the anime should be slice of life. What I am saying is, if the studio is incapable of making top quality action scenes, why rush towards it? Instead of alternating between Arthur being a stone-faced baby and a still PNG swinging a sword, why not lean into his emotions during the time spent with family? Add more effort into his facial expressions. Make us care for Arthur as a human being, and not just another anime hero monologuing some edgy lines. Create a real distinction between his happy new life and the edgy life of responsibility and grind he's left behind. After all, as webtoon fans know, Arthur is influenced by his body. Just because he was an old senile king does not mean he should act like an old senile baby. His present self is one that's adorable, lacks control, and easily shows faces. Just as he will later be an edgy teen who has trouble with emotions. It's just hard to imagine this anime Arthur being able to show the face of a kind and doting brother towards his sister. You know what isn't hard to imagine though? You clicking that super thanks button for this video. It would really mean the world. While you consider it, do remember to smash that subscribe button and remember to like, share, and comment if you want to see more awesome content like this one.
これが因果か。
Where the end began. Change of webtoon artist hypocritical of anime outlook.
多くのものを奪ってきたわ。
For the new anime fans and novel elitists who haven't had the time to read through the webtoon, it might come as a surprise to find out just how much the webtoon has changed over the years. In a way, this whole issue with the anime brings me back to the community drama surrounding the webtoon's artist change. You see, back at the start of the webtoon series, the art was in a far rougher and playful state. Distinctly different from the other popular webtoons that come from Korea, the beginning after the end represented a hope for success outside the mainlands that are Korea, Japan, and China. A story clearly inspired by everything good about fantasy and isekai, and an art that, while rough around the edges, portrayed a lightheartedness that amplified my endearment to the amazing characters. The artist Fuyuki23 truly felt like an important figure in the journey of Arthur through this land of magic. With his art clearly improving over the years of covering the story, I personally felt like he did a more than excellent job, especially considering the consistent upload schedule. You know how hard that is? I can't even keep a consistent sleep schedule. But that's just my side of the story. Unlike me, the publisher of the series wants a loyal work slave who barely needs proper payment. Somewhat thankfully, the change came just in time for a much more war-heavy section of the story. Exactly the type of thing some people said Fuyuki23 couldn't handle properly. At least the new team is more equipped though, right? Oh well. At least everyone is doing their best, I suppose. So why bring this up now? Well, in an interview regarding the anime production, the author Turtleme did voice his mindset on picking which anime studio to go for. Something along the lines of small yet focused attention is better than bigger and less caring. Now, honestly, I find it hard to think of a big name studio doing a job as horrible as what we got with this one. I personally think it was unfounded, and obviously a bigger, more equipped studio is better than one that isn't. Big surprise. In reality, it all comes down to cheaper is better, and the series publishers and Crunchyroll couldn't really be bothered to help realize an A+ anime. After all, even if it does perform badly, the fanbase is sure to boost Crunchyroll users, and those dissatisfied will just go back to enjoying the series in other forms. And sadly, that's just the reality we're in right now, as evident by the author himself admitting just as much. All we can really do is keep holding on and show just how much the series matters to us as fans. The light at the end.
役目を果たしたのだ。誇ればいい。
Despite the quality of the animation, the first couple of episodes have actually garnered a positive review in Crunchyroll with, as of right now, a 72% 5-star rating. Yes, I know, in places where it actually matters like my anime list, it's around a 6 out of 10. But going back to the trailer numbers we mentioned before, I think it's safe to say that if Crunchyroll didn't understand the love for this series before, they sure as hell will now. Numbers speak for themselves. It's not too late to maybe see an opposite of One Punch Man go down, with higher quality animation in later seasons, perhaps even by a different studio. And yeah, that would be a familiar story for the author, as the webtoon itself went through an upgrade through an artist change. While the hate from fans is sad to see now, the loudness may end up as a saving grace. Just picture this. Crunchyroll realizes how big the series really is. Taking note of all the negative criticism, this pushes them to find other more equipped studios, with some maybe even gunning for the opportunity to make a name out of saving this beloved series. And poof! All of a sudden, Ufotable has announced they're in production for beginning after the end season 2. Now wouldn't that just be a picture-perfect beginning after a horribly ugly end? What? Too much? How did you like this deep dive into anime failure? Don't fret though, we're just getting started with even more amazing content. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you want to see more. And comment down below what you thought of today's video. Are there any other anime blunders that you think were worse? Let us know. We always love to hear it. As always, thanks for watching. We'll be seeing you again next time.